And welcome, Miami. Welcome back. We have a brand new platform for you this time around for season 2. It is Back to Life Academy, where we are looking at the total person and really where health is the hero. I am Giovanna Garcia Pons, one of your hosts, and I specialize in health and human performance, and also a co founder of Back to Life Academy.
And I am Kristin Erickson, CEO and founder of Back to Life Academy, specializing in fitness to finance. And together, we are here to bring you value to help you live your ultimate life.
And we are so excited to kick this season off. Our entire platform and what we want to bring to you are tools and resources, value that you can take away so that you can get into action and really bring you those stories of very successful people and how they managed to get there and what they did through their own challenges and obstacles. Because we know that health is just not about the physical health. We're also talking about emotional health, spiritual health, financial health, all around encompassing the entire human individual. So, with that, I'm very excited to kick off this season of Back to Life Academy with our first guest. Please allow me to welcome him, DJ Phelan. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good to be here with you guys.
I love that you are here. Thank you for taking the time to come.
Of course.
And let's jump in. Let's tell everyone, who are you? What's your story? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'll give you the short version. So I was born in Portland, Oregon. Grew up single mom, no dad in the mix. Growing up, hated school, had ADD, had some abuse. We're very poor financially, but very loving family. And so that was, how I grew up. Have one brother, 2 years older than me, Derek. And then, as I grew up, thank God I was athletically gifted. And so very blessed athletically. So I ended up being the San Francisco Giants their 6th-round pick in 1991 at 19 years old. So I signed, went on that, bus ride, no pun intended, but went on that bus ride and journey for a while in my life, had a son unplanned, life pill a different path, which we'll get into. And then ended up starting my first company in my late 20s. I think I was 29, sold it a handful of years later, got into real estate. And now I've been doing that, real estate investing, coaching, mentoring in that for about 18 years. So that's the condensed version.
What a resume.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
DJ, I want to know, people often will just see the success that you've already reached.
Mhm.
But if you can share with people, the kind of the road to success, maybe if there was a massive turning point for you and the strength that you found to overcome that, where did you find that strength from?
I think, man, you know what, Kristin? I think that, like for me, seeing, having a single mom that worked multiple jobs, 2, sometimes 3 jobs. So she would work her day job and then she would bartend at night. A lot of people don't know this. That's how I got a Billy Martin ball. Now, I don't know the whole story behind the whole, how I got that baseball, but I know I got a signed Billy Martin baseball. So with that said, I mean, I think like seeing a strong woman, I think that we emulate what we see and not what people tell us. So it's easy for a parent to go, you should do this, eat your Wheaties, right? Take your vitamins, whatever. But I think like as we grow up, we really start to formulate how we are based upon what we see, not what we were told. So I saw someone that had resilience. I saw someone that just kept going no matter what. I saw someone that didn't have a car. We didn't have a car ever growing up. My grandparents did. But so we walked everywhere. We'd walk. That whole story of when I was your age, we walked to the grocery store 1 mile, 2 miles in the rain and 2 miles back. Like we actually did, right? And carrying the grocery bags and all of that. So I think like seeing that and experiencing that it just kind of built me. And so as I got older, that was a big anchor in my life, I think. on just resilience. Like you just keep going. It's raining, so what? You keep going. You don't have a ride to work that day, so what? Go take the bus, right? Like I saw my mom always find a way on how to get something done. So to me, it was just normal. Like, okay, this way didn't work, so I'm just going to come at it from another angle instead of crying in my tears and quitting. You just learn to do that.
Yeah.
And DJ, you just said something very valuable, that instead of becoming overwhelmed, you looked at what other options were available. And that's something that happens to us on an everyday, to everyone, because we're human. We become overwhelmed because that's the only option that we see at the moment. But what you're saying is that that's what was really helped you,
Yeah.
in that you were always able to see other options so that you could keep moving forward. And that's a huge testament to you. And as far as that turning point. So
Absolutely.
look, your resume is huge. You're very successful today. And already, you're showing us that you're just like any other person out there, right?
Yeah.
And today, that's what you're really bringing to us, is a little insight into how did you get where you'd get to, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that is really important, I think, is to have some kind of like system in place. Like, how do you manage your everyday? How do you manage like your overall health and its importance? Systems. So talk to me a little bit about kind of what systems do you have in place?
I think that, you know what, Gio, I think that, well, look, if you're talking about like, how can I perform at my highest level? Right. So I played pro baseball, and I shared a little with you guys. A lot of the guys I played with, right? Average talent. I won't name any of them on here, but they're gonna go, average talent, man. What are you talking about? But average talent, average size, average this, average that. But they had something in them that separated them, right? And what that was, and so, and I've learned this, is they believed that they were better than they were. So the guys that were average, that believed they were better than they were, they played for 10 years. The guys that had the talent, the Alex Rodriguez's, the Derek Jeters, the David Ortiz's, right? All of these people that had the talent and they believed they're better than they were, the Barry Bonds, maybe that's not a popular topic, but those guys are the Hall of Famers. Right. So they didn't just play for 10 years, they played for 20, and they were all stars and in the Hall of Fame. So I think that, and what you notice is they, for me, right, in life, to kind of answer your question, is I think it's having a routine.
Yes.
So having a routine that, and it's not always the routine that you're comfortable with. Right. So it's getting up early. For me, it's important to, whether I work out or not, it's very important to swim in the morning, because the water like resets me. And when I'm in the water, I just meditate. I thank God for all the things I have now. I do some gratitude, and I smile while I'm doing it. So I'm anchoring like happiness first thing in the morning. Every single morning, I'm anchoring like happiness, a happy vibe, a happy energy.
Huge.
And then I swim a little. But what that does for me is, that like anchors to me that, I can, because look, we can control so many more things than we think. People go, we can control, think about this. We can control our beliefs. We can't control our
100%.
thoughts because we get so many, but we can control our beliefs. We can control our happiness. Are we happy or mad? We have total control over that.
Yes.
And I went through so much of my life, Gio and Kristin, like not knowing that, right? You strike out, I'm busting a bat, I'm throwing a helmet. And so we anchor like when we're little, we fall down, we hurt ourselves, we get an ice cream cone. So we're anchored from an early age. I was sharing this with someone the other day, that external things make me happy. If I'm upset or sad and I get the right thing externally, and it jacks us up, it messes us up, because that's not real life. Right. And so what I've come to know is it's not external things, be it cars, houses, money, all that make us happy. But rather that control, more or less, I should say, that control how we feel. So the external things were like wired from an early age that those things control how I feel, but actually how we feel controls what happens. And so it's inverted, right?
Yeah.
And so like starting the day with happiness and gratitude and those things really anchors me. And I think having a routine that is, again, not comfortable for you, but like what's healthy for me and what's going to allow me to perform at my highest level. And I think that's,
which go ahead,
and as you
Kristin.
said, you know, it's the belief, you know, in yourself and the belief in the situation, which leads us to confidence. So you seem like a super confident person, and I do know you personally to know that. But do you think that you were always like that? And if you weren't,
no.
what you know, how did you get to that level of confidence?
I mean, look, I share this openly with people. Like when I, you know, was 19 and I signed, I was a mental midget. I was like my highs were really high. I would be minor league player of the week for all the minor leagues. And the next week I would be like, I couldn't, you know, as Marvin says, I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat. Right. So that's, you know, the experience is your highs are really high when you're emotional and you don't understand, you're not self-awareness. Look, I think that the most overrated, overlooked, not talked about thing is self-love, self-happiness, and self-awareness.
Absolutely.
I think those three things people are so focused on, like, well, how many sales, like as a business owner, how many sales did you get and how many calls did you make and what are your KPIs? And while those things are important, I think more important than that, not even close, is how happy are they?
Yes.
How
And
how
DJ,
aware are they on?
And that's a big part of Back to Life Academy. And if I could just repeat something that you said earlier, which is gold for our audience, is you anchor in, you control the best that you can your externals through a routine. But the most important thing is that it's coming internally from you, happiness from you. You're taking care of yourself first, which I believe is what you're saying, which is where that self-confidence comes from, because that's what you focus on. And I mean, I cannot thank you enough for that, because that's what Back to Life Academy is all about, in addition to all other aspects of a human. But go ahead, keep going.
No, I think that, you know, so many times in a company culture, people are measuring the wrong things, right? It's all about revenue and sales. And look, we just saw, unfortunately, right, and you know, prayers go out to him and his family, the gentleman from Bed Bath Beyond. Right. Here's a guy that is at, you know, very high, jumps off a building, kills himself. Right. So like, you can't always, everything from the outside always looks good, or it's not what it seems, I should say. And so I think that, you know, client happiness comes from from employee happiness. We get what we give. So if the employees aren't happy and vibing and energetic, you know, Kristin's met and you met, you know, some of my team recently, but if they're not happy pouring into our clients and investors and showing love to them, but they can't give that if they don't have that. You can't give from an empty cup. So the first thing that people have to do is fix themselves, or employees should focus on getting your team and your employees to fix themselves. And then by fixing them, your revenue grows, your clients are happier, you get more referrals, you get more repeat business. It all translates, as opposed to just focusing on, it's kind of like if you just focus on sales, you're focusing on fixing the fruit of the tree instead of fixing the root that's going to produce good fruit forever.
And DJ, tell the audience a little bit about, because I experienced it firsthand, and I see how you are with your team, but what you allow your team to do first in the morning to get themselves ready for the day, because you're clearly modeling that for them. And instead of just practicing what you preach and telling them to do something differently, you actually encourage them to do the same thing by waking up, starting their day with gratitude, a prayer, some fitness, some all of the things that you do. You model that as the leader, and it shows in your team, because you pour into your team. You know, I think it's really important about that. So on that note, because you have had coaches in your past and you've been a professional baseball player and now the CEO of many companies, you as that leader, now you're on the other side. How important is it to have a coach, and who were your mentors along the way to make yourself realize, wow, I really need to be that model, and the importance of having a coach is invaluable.
Oh, look, listen, a company's issues, and I had to take ownership of this, when younger, I mean, I'm only 51 now, but thank God I don't look or act like it, right? but I mean, I think that so many times, look, you have to take ownership, right? So the owners of companies first, they got to take ownership and be accountable. It always, I heard Darren Hardy say this once. He said, the founder of Success Magazine, very famous, Darren Hardy said, if I could tell you audience members one thing and I'm dying in an hour and I could leave you with one thing, it would be accountable for everything in your life, good, bad, and ugly, right? So it starts at the top with the leaders and the owners being accountable, for themselves.
Yeah.
And then it obviously trickles down. But look, coaches, I mean, a guy that I got a chance to meet and talk to personally, and I really, really like, is a guy named Tim Grover. So Tim Grover, for most people have heard of Tim Grover, but for those of you that haven't heard of Tim Grover, he was the personal mindset and health coach, everything coach for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I mean, the best of the best go to Tim Grover, right? And Tim Grover, why I think LeBron used him, he might, I don't know, but why do people that are the best in the world, those guys are like, I got to get better, right? I got more in me. I can grow, I can learn. And so it's like, whoa, man, if those guys need a coach, right, then I definitely need a coach. And so a good coach, like my college coach in baseball, Dale Stebbins. So Dale really was like on me, on my, right? Always like, DJ Jake, my best friend, you guys run. I'm like, dude, I didn't even do anything. What the heck, right? And the guys that were goofing off, they're like, he's just letting them go. But he saw greatness in me before I did, right? And he saw like, I've got to whip this dude into shape and get him to like stop messing around and take this serious.
Because as you said, you probably didn't even know your ultimate potential at that point, but to have a great coach or a mentor that recognized that in you, to actually pull that last little bit out to say, wow, I know I was good, but this person or these people allowed me to go to that even next level. Because think of it in baseball, you have your first base coach, your infielding coach, your catching coach, all of these coaches that are going to pull that best version out of you, clearly because your track record speaks for itself.
No, you listen, at any level. I love Jesse Itzler, right? So Jesse Itzler, shout out to Jesse Itzler. So Jesse Itzler, who, I'm not going to get into it because of time, but he's built $2 billion companies, and his wife, Sarah Blakely from Spanx. So I love Jesse. Well, Jesse had a guy named David Goggins who came and lived with him. It's called Living with the Seal, I think. So basically what David Goggins did, who's an incredible guy, David Goggins said, we're going to do 100 pull-ups. So Jesse got on the bar and he did, 3 or 4. And he's like, oh man, okay, no, do a couple more. He did a couple more. He like 7, right? He's like, that's it. That's all I can do. Yeah. He's like, no, dude, you're doing 100. And we're staying here until you do 100. Right. And so what happened was Jesse ended up getting on the bar, doing 1 or 2, relaxing, doing another 1 or 2, relaxing for 30 seconds, got to 100. And it was an aha moment for Jesse. And he said, you know what it did? I realized, wow, if I'm under indexing, if I'm doing 7% and quitting when I got 100% in me, what other parts of my life am I underachieving in? Right. And so people we're built for so much more than we realize we can do. Yep. And so I think for businesses and business owners to go, hey, I know you did 7 pull-ups, but you can actually do 100. Yeah. And I also think that in an economy, in a time that we don't know what's going on, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, that it's really vital right now for companies and owners and teams to maximize their
Yes.
production.
Yep.
So because you can do more with less. If you're getting, you know, if they're doing 7 pull-ups and you got, you know, 10 people, well, basically that's 70, right?
Mhm.
Well, what if you had 5 people doing 100 pull-ups? So you got 70 versus 500. What would you rather have? So it's not about the size of the team. It's about maximizing the potential, getting the most out of what you have.
Yeah. And to maximize that potential, right? You also have to get involved, and don't be afraid to get involved into your employees' wellness. It is
Absolutely.
no longer something that's considered personal. It should be part of a business strategy to become successful and maximize, like you're talking about. And I love all the information you're giving us here. I do want to point out that it doesn't matter how big or small your business is. These are components to take into consideration. And you yourself, as an entrepreneur and a very successful entrepreneur today, is really relies on the support. So yet again, a great reminder in that we're not here to succeed on our own. There's no way that we can succeed on our own.
Mm.
So what advice, and this is coming from the entrepreneur perspective, because again, your success and where you've gotten, and thank you for sharing all your background and how, and really how you've come to be. But what advice, considering, because you said it, the environment that we're facing today from an economic perspective as well as social, what advice might you give entrepreneurs out there that are trying just to make it?
Man. Ooh, I mean, look, there's a few things as someone that has had tons of losses, right? Like for me, like, look, in baseball, if you succeed 3 out of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame. So you're failing 7 out of 10 times, and you're basically one of the best, right? So coming from that cloth, to me, I didn't care. Knock on a door, say no, great. I'm going to another, right? I didn't focus on the losses because, so to answer your question, I think entrepreneurs, a few things. Number one, got to have a great routine.
Yeah.
Right. And preferably something, you know, Hal Elrod, it's called The Miracle Morning. Those people that haven't heard of The Miracle Morning, get that book, read it, go on YouTube, watch it. Great place to start. So I think it starts in the morning with the good routine, but also with the good evening routine, right? That people don't talk about. But I think that as an entrepreneur, it's not, first of all, to realize it's not for everybody. Right. And so, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, what, you know, you have to do, in my opinion, is one, you got to have people go work hard, work hard, work hard. And yes, you got to work hard, and you got to work consistently, and you got to let it compound. And so people want like instant results, and they look on Instagram and they see, you know, people that are in their 20s, right? And I've got a couple clients that are this way, and Kristin knows, very successful in their 20s, but people look at that and go, oh man, like they want it so fast, and they don't see like Thatch Wynn, who's a buddy of mine. Shout out to Thatch. They don't see like, dude, this guy came from Vietnam and he's been grinding for 30 years to see what you see now. Yeah. Right. So the entrepreneurship, just realize if you get into this game, you've got to work really hard. You've got to have a positive can-do mindset. You've got to, when you get the carpet pulled out from under your feet, you've got to figure out a way to keep going and maybe come at that problem from a different angle. Yeah. Right. And so,
and real quick, not to interrupt you, but I want you to share the Deion Sanders saying that we always talk about.
Oh yeah. Deion Sanders, right? It's the whole thing. So it goes back to like the principles: look good, feel good, play good, get paid good.
Nice.
Right. And I love Deion. And so, but that's right. But it all starts with, you know, with feeling good. Well, if you're waking up late and your energy's always down and you're freaking out of shape. I'm 51 and I have a long way that I could be in better shape. Yeah. But I mean, I run into people all the time. They're like, dude, how old are you? Right? I'm like, yeah, I got a 26-year-old kid. They're like, hold on a sec. What? Say what?
And it's an
so-
energy thing, like you said. If you're taking care of yourself from start to finish, you know,
Yeah.
it's reflective. We all have a history of sports and athletics, and you at a higher level, and we've always taken care. And I think our goal with Back to Life Academy is to share other people that have also had that same route, where it's not always been easy, but there have been certain things that have always been consistent.
I'll give you the number one thing for any entrepreneur. Here's the hack,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
If
love
you
it.
guys want a hack,
Yeah.
here's the hack.
Because what? And I got this from you, DJ.
Yeah.
We want to get further faster. So give us the hack.
Yeah.
Give it
So
to
here's
us.
the hack. It's really
Yeah.
simple. You find somebody that is already not for 6 months, that's done it for years. That's done what you want to do. And you pay them whatever the heck you got to pay them to learn it. That's it. Because
Success leaves clues.
well, yeah, and
Yeah.
and so people say learn from your mistakes. Well, of course you want to learn from your mistakes. But like, if knowing what I know now, right, I would have found like a Thatch Win, right? Who's where I would have wanted to be. I want to own a bunch of rentals. I want to do this, and I would have said, hey man, I'll work for you for free for 6 months. I'll find the money. If I got to take out loans, I will pay whatever I got to pay in order for you to mentor me, because I would have been able to achieve 100, not 10 times, 100 times more in a tenth of the time, because he would have been able to say, oh no, dude, don't do that on something that I beat my head against the wall for maybe 2 years, right? Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I already know how to do that. So you find someone that is already having massive success for a long period of time, and you hire them to be your coach or mentor. That's really the fast track.
And listen, I think that's the summary. That's the recap of all of this, and really the advice you're giving. And so as we wrap up, number one, I mean, thank you so much, because this conversation can keep going and going, because you're really dropping a lot of knowledge, wisdom, value, nuggets, mic drops. I mean, let's throw it out there. And you've been around. So experience everything. Thank you for sharing your story. Because again, we're human, and
we weren't all at this age. We were 20 years back once so long ago too. So it encourages the ones that are already at our age or older, but the younger generation as well, to say, hey, been there, done that. We're here to help.
And one thing, G, I want to share, quick story. So my mom retired April 1st, 2010. My dream was to retire my mom, right? Play baseball, light pill a different path, had a son.
I think a lot of people have those aspirations as well.
She retires. My brother and I helped a little, but she retires April 1st, 2010, heart attack, dead April 30th at 62. And here's the lesson from it is, I look at and go, man, she didn't get, sorry.
It's okay.
But she didn't get to see, I didn't expect this. Sorry. She didn't get to see my son graduate high school, right? She didn't get to see him excel in play all those games in baseball. She missed so much on something that could have been prevented. She had a heart attack the previous year and didn't share it with us. And so for those of you that are watching this or listening to this, like, just realize, don't make it about all you. While making it about you is kind of how you're going to fix it. But look at, like, if I don't get my health in check, right? What is it going to cost me? If I don't take care of myself, if I don't like take advantage of like learning how to get healthy and well, right? Like
the cost of not doing.
Yes.
The cost of not doing it.
And asking yourself, what is the ROI on my own investment,
Absolutely.
right? Getting all that. DJ, first of all,
Thank
that
you.
last piece, thank you so much. Absolutely humbled with that. So really quickly, if someone wants to reach out to you, how do they find you?
Oh, easy. I would say go on Instagram.
Okay.
Can search my name, DJ Thielen, or D.J. Thielen. Find me on Instagram. There's a link in my bio that has basically articles, reviews, all kinds of info, more in-depth stuff. And
Thank you.
Thank
Again, thank you so much.
you.
So appreciative of your time again. And there you have it, Miami. Back to Life Academy is here bi-weekly, bringing you stories of very successful people, but yet showing you behind the scenes. We'll see you next time.